Hello and welcome to the Children's Football Writing Festival. This week, the National Football Museum is hosting a handful of readings and challenges from some brilliant authors. I am Helen Rutter, and today I'm going to tell you why I love reading and writing about football. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of my new book, The Boy Whose Wishes Came True, which is available from wherever you buy your books. And then I'll finish off by setting you a footy-themed challenge. Okay, so first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about why I wrote. There's a lot of football in this story. And so I'll tell you a little bit about why I wrote about football. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people out there who love football. So I knew that. But the reason I wrote about football is because when I was younger, I was obsessed with football. And it wasn't all that common when I was young for girls to be into football. So I used to go to football camps in the summer, and I was the only girl of all the boys at the football camps. And I used to play football all the time. And you might have heard of Sheffield Wednesday. I played for Sheffield Wednesday girls. Not for very long. And to be honest, I wasn't ever that brilliant, but I loved it so much. And so there's a little bit of a link, because Archie Crumb in this story, he loves football so much. He's obsessed with it, but he's not brilliant at it. And so maybe that was a little bit like me, because I remember when I played for Sheffield Wednesday girls, I scored an own goal and I never wanted to go back because I was so embarrassed. But I love the game so much, and I love how exciting it is, and how everyone gets behind you, and the feeling when you walk into a football stadium is amazing, isn't it? Just the look of the grass, how green it is, and the crowd, it's just so exciting. So that's why I like writing about it. Now, I'm going to read a little bit from the story. How about that? So get yourselves comfy, and I'll read you some of this story. So in this book, Archie Crumb, who's our main character, he's having a really tough time. He's going through some really difficult things. And one day, when things can't get any worse, he falls off his bike and he bangs his head and he's on the ground. And when he wakes up, his footballing hero, Lucas Bailey, is standing there in front of him. And that's where I'm going to read from. He's just met Lucas Bailey. I don't know why, but then I tell him everything. Everything that I've told the sticker version of him. And he just listens. As we pass the house with the gnomes, I tell him that Mum doesn't sing in the shower anymore, or do Zumba in the living room. When we get to the post box, I tell him about Bella, the leader of the BB gang, calling me a tramp because my uniform's too small, and about how we can't afford a new one. As we head past the co-op, I tell him that my dad's going to a caravan in Wales, and when I asked if I could come, he told me there wasn't enough space. And that's how it always feels with my dad, like there's not enough space for me in his new life. By the time we get to my front door, Lucas Bailey knows my whole life story. He stops and looks at me. "Buddy," he says gently, "I think you need a little bit of help." "I know," I say, "but Mum won't ask anyone." But before I have time to explain that she's stopped talking to all of her friends and she won't go to the doctors or talk to the teachers anymore, he stops me. Not that kind of help. Then he sits on the curb and pats the concrete next to him. I sit. Sometimes people just need a little bit of luck to come their way, to make them see what's possible, to give them a bit of hope, so that they have the power to change their situation. I could definitely use some of that. Well, take it then. What do you mean? He looks at me and laughs. You know, I used to look out of my bedroom window and I could see the stadium all lit up at night. For so long, I could never imagine myself there. I was too skinny or too naughty. No one ever thought I could do it. It's only when I started believing in myself, really picturing myself on the pitch, that things started to change. Then he looks at me with his kind face and says, "What's your lucky number, Archie Crumb?" 9, I say, without hesitating. He nods and turns around to point at the number 9 on his shirt. OK, so when you wake up tomorrow, you've got 9 wishes, kid. No more, no less. No wishing for more wishes or any of that kind of nonsense. All you have to do is imagine something happening and then wish for it out loud. If you can't imagine it, then it won't come true. I blink at him. You're joking? Lucas shakes his head. Nope. You can wish for anything you want. But there's one important rule. You can't wish for people to change inside. That means you can't wish someone happier or kinder or braver. You have to be specific. You have to be smart about this, Archie. If only it were that easy, I say, looking down at my shoes and remembering all of the wishes I've made that never ever worked. If you don't wish for it, then it can't come true, can it? He says with laughter still in his eyes. That's what my mum used to say. But by the time I turn to look at him, he's gone. So, I'm not going to ruin it and tell you what Archie wishes for, but maybe you can have a little guess. What do you think Archie might wish for with his 9 wishes? And do you think they're going to come true? So, with that in mind, I think you guys could write a little story, couldn't you? So here's my challenge. Have a think about your favourite footballer and then imagine if you met that footballer and they granted you a wish, what would you wish for? Now, your wish can be anything. It can be football related. It could be anything you want it to be. It's your wish. But the only rule is you can't wish for more wishes and you can't wish for somebody to change on the inside. Just like Archie. So have a think and then write down your story. And you can imagine what your footballer looks like, where you are when you meet them and how that would feel, and write it all down. I really can't wait to see some of your stories. So be sure to share your stories with us on social media. You can include me at Helen Rutter UK, so tag me so I can see them, and also tag the National Football Museum, which is at Football Museum, because we really want to see all of your brilliant stories. I can't wait. If you want to find out more about the Children's Football Writing Festival and all the activities, you can even see the past activities on the YouTube playlist. So remember, you can go there and subscribe. And if you can, even better, why not come and see the museum in Manchester? Wouldn't that be brilliant? Thank you all so much for listening. Bye.